2 or so years ago, I was told that the current West Indies head coach knows the cricket as much as I do. His utterances after the 2-0 defeat to South Africa does not inspire any confidence in me that that statement was true. As one West Indian to another, as one Jamaican to another, as one man to another, I'm saying to the head coach of the West Indies cricket team, do things your way. What I've been told about you is not what I'm seeing. It appears that you have been caught up in the system and it has engulfed you, and you are doing things the way that others want you to do it. If you're going to succeed at this job, my brother, you have to do things your way. Fail your way. Otherwise, you would not have given yourself a chance to succeed. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Please slash a like on the video, click on the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. You click on it once and it is free. And please click on the link in the video description and purchase a shoes from Dream Paris today. Since the defeat to Australia, our head coach have came out, he and the captain have made some statements. A number of us have been asking why we have not heard from the head coach. I read in part his statement. Whatever we needed to do, that is the first red flag for me. Whatever we needed to do. I want my head coach to say, we are going to do A, B, and C so that we can achieve our objective, whatsoever that objective is. Whatever we needed to do, suggests to me that he is not in a position to state what should be done because he's caught up in the system and he's protecting his job. And that's where I reminded him that he's an interim coach and he needs to stamp his own authority. Fail doing things your way, for then you would not have given yourself a chance. Or whatever we did well, what was it that West Indies did well? We both, and most glaringly, the first session in both tests, or we could say the first 3 hours in both the first test and the second test, we bowled rubbish and allowed South Africa to get away to good starts. And in the end, especially in the first test, it was that poor bowling in the first 3 hours that caused West Indies to lose that match. It happened again in the first 3 hours of the second test. So what we really did well is to bowl very well for half of the series. We bowled very well for half of the series. No one can forget that splendid spell on the second afternoon, the second evening of the first test by our bowlers. No one will forget that bowling on the third morning of the second test by our bowlers. But before that and after that, when we allow Bavuma to score his highest test score, when we allow Edgar and Markram to laugh at us on that first morning, but sandwiched between those were some good bowling by our bowlers. That's what we did well. We never batted well as a collective. Reefer, Blackwood, and Older score off centuries in the series. But as a collective unit, we did not bat well. So instead of saying whatever we did well, I want my coach to come out and say what we did well and what we're going to do to fix what we never done so well. Whatever we did well, we needed to do for much longer. That statement, we know. We know that we needed to do it for much longer. We are not able to have significant batting partnership in both test innings. We know that, Mr. Head Coach. What we want to know from you as the man, as the individual who have been employed to coach the team, we want to know from you what you are doing, what you have done during your time to improve this situation. That's what we want to know from you. I have said it on so many occasions that one, we need to train longer and more effectively. Some say efficiently, but I see efficient as a slow process. So I use the word effectively. Effectively. We need to train longer and more effectively. Secondly, we need to practice specific things, specifics. We need to practice math situation. We need to simulate math situation. We need to practice those skills that we need to survive in really intense situation. In my opinion, one of the underlying factors that is affecting West Indies batting is because our players are not confident that they have the skills to deal with situations that arises in Test cricket. And the reason why they do not have that skill or that mental confidence or believe in themselves that they can get out of those situations is because they are not practicing enough, especially our batsmen, who in all intent and purposes are the reason why we lost this test series. Our batsmen are not hitting enough balls. They are not batting long enough in training. We heard of players like Steve Smith, Joe Root, Marnus Labuschagne, Babar Azam. We heard of those players hitting 3,000 balls per day. How many balls per day are our West Indies batsmen hitting? They bat for 20 minutes in the net. They do not train outside of team practice. And training in team practice alone will never make you a good cricketer. The head coach knows this. He knows this. But he's afraid to come out and say it. He's afraid to come out and say, our batsmen are not training enough on their own. Because he got caught up in the system, in the structure, and the power is not his, but our head coach. If what I heard about this fine gentleman is remotely true, this statement does not reflect him. Jason Older is always someone who gives his all. He continues to be a valuable member of our team because of the volume of bowling that is required to do. So he ends up batting at number 8 and has to have a heavy workload batting and bowling. I do believe Jason has a lot of value to add in our formats. He is in the 3 formats. Now, those are the opinions of the coach. They differs from what I think. And they differs from what I interpreted the statistics to be. But I am an individual like this. I said the coach needs to do things his way. And so I will not criticize his opinion. I will give him the benefit of the doubt, although those are not my opinions. They differ. They differ from him. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and support him for now. But if his belief does not come through at the end of the white ball series, then he must remember that he will be fair game for criticism. My opinion on Jason Older, I think he should not be playing all 3 formats. Which format he should not be playing, I think it is left for his management and himself to decide. And why I put forward the position that he should not be playing all 3 formats is that I think Jason Older, by playing all 3 formats, is operating at somewhere between 75 and 80%. And it is my considered view that if he's playing 2 formats, he would be able to operate in those 2 formats at 100%. So in deciding, I have come to the conclusion that I would prefer a Jason Older operating at 100% in 2 formats than a Jason Older operating at 80% in all 3 formats. So I think just like Ben Stokes, who recognized the stress that it will be on him and recognize that he would not be able to give 100% in all 3 formats and have stepped down from one format. You know the format that Ben Stokes stepped down from? Format that Older should step down from. I am not saying that Older should step from any particular format. I'm saying that he should choose the format that he wishes to step down from. But I draw on the example of Ben Stokes to show that he needs to step down from one format. Look at Bumrah. Look at Mark Wood. Look at Alice Stone. Look at Jason Hazelwood. Look at Hazelwood from Australia. These players, these fast bowlers, have broken down because they have been playing all three formats. And now it takes such a long time for them to recover. A similar thing happens to Jafra Archer because he was playing all three formats. I am saying to Cricket West Indies and to the management of Jason Older and Alzara Joseph, I would strongly recommend that they stop playing one of the formats. I would strongly recommend that. We want players to give 100% whenever they are playing. And I think one of the ways to get them to give 100% is to ask them to play two formats instead of all three. I do not think we have a wide enough pool to be selecting specific players for specific teams. But at the same time, our best players should not be playing all three formats. I do not want to sound prophetic. There are so many times I have said things and I've gotten them right. But I know I'm going to be right again if our fast bowler, especially Alzara Joseph, does not stop playing all three formats. So I'm asking the management of Joseph and of Jason Older. And if anyone from Cricket West Indies is listening, it is very imperative that we get these players playing only two formats. Not because they cannot play all three formats, but with them playing all three formats, it will come back to haunt them. And so I'm not going to criticize what the head coach said about Jason Older. What I will encourage Jason Older and his management to do, though, is to recognize that he will be able to be more beneficial to Cricket West Indies and the West Indies cricket team if he's given 100% in two formats rather than giving 80% in three formats. That's what I would encourage. On the part of Brathwaite, he said we need to improve. We all see that. We need to improve technically. Yes, we need to work on our flaws. What are those flaws, Brathwaite? How are we going to work on them? We have heard these comments so often. We know these things too. You are not telling us something that we don't know. What we are asking is for you to tell us what are the meticulous approach that you guys are going to use to improve your technicality. As I said at the start, one of the reasons why we are failing so miserably is because we do not have the confidence. The mental aspect of the game is failing us because we do not have the confidence that we have the skills and the techniques to survive certain situations in test match cricket, especially against high-class bowling. We know we did not score enough runs. Everyone knows that. What we want to hear from you is what we are going to do. What we are going to do to score more runs. I gave the example in my last video of the workload and how workload improve performances. You recall I said that most persons in track and field initially they wanted to be a 100-meter sprinter. But they soon realized that there are many persons faster than them. So they start participating in other events. They choose other events to participate. I use the example of the 400 meter. Where a young boy or a young girl who thought that she was good at 100 meters suddenly realized that she's not good at it and switch to the 400 meter. And the first time he or she is running a 400 meter, they run the first 100 meter very fast. But by the time they reach 150 meters, they start walking and eventually unable to complete the 400 meters. But over time, the coach get him or her to pace themselves, to get stronger, to hold their form better. And over time, they get them to complete the 400 meters. And over time, they get them to get their time getting lower and lower and lower. And that individual develop the confidence that they can compete the 400 meter. So they go into a 400 meter race knowing that they are going to win or knowing that they're going to finish, knowing that they're going to run somewhere depending on the individual around 44, 45 or 46 or 47, whatsoever, or 50 seconds depending on the individual. Having confidence in what they are going to do because they practice and practice and practice. And that is what I'm asking from the West Indies cricket team. Having played international cricket and you realize your deficiency, you realize that as you reach 150 meters, you start walking and you eventually did not complete the race. You realize those deficiencies. Without practicing and practicing and practicing in the right way, doing the correct drills at the right intensity, you won't have the confidence that you will survive in Test cricket. And so you will not make a lot of runs. You will always doubt yourself. So I encourage our batsmen today. Practice. Practice. Invest in yourself. Bat 3,000 balls a day like Babar Azam and Steve Smith and Joe Root. They do not bat it every day. But when they're having a batting session, they bat and they bat and they bat and they bat all day. Many stories have been told about Lawrence Rowe batting all day in Kingston, Jamaica. Batting all day. Having everybody coming to bowl at him. Our batsmen need to bat all day, even when they are not playing a match. That is how they are going to develop. Thank you all for tuning in. And I want to thank Dream Paris Shoes for this recording. Indulge in the joy of walking with the latest and trendy design in shoes from Dream Paris. Click the link in the video description. Please slash a like on the video and click on the subscribe button. I'll see you in a few minutes where I will be going live to pick my West Indies team for the first ODI on Thursday. May God bless you all. Take care of yourself. Take care